Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Ms. Lake, I thank you for joining us today. First, I'd like to address President Trump's recent strike on Iran's nuclear facilities, an action taken without consulting the committee or securing congressional authorization. And it's troubling that Secretary Rubio is not sitting here today and that Republican members are avoiding oversight on such grave matters of war and peace that fall squarely on this committee's jurisdiction. Instead, as this hearing's title shows, we're returning to House Republicans' fixation on far-fetched conspiracies, this time to tear down the U.S. Agency for Global Media and the important work it supports. This tracks with President Trump's broad record of denigrating federal agencies and appointing leaders that, far from shepherding their agencies to success, are stewards of their sabotage. And I believe, Ms. Lake, you fall into this category. The story of the United States Agency for Global Media began with the Voice of America countering Nazi propaganda. That mission endured through the Cold War and continues today. USAGM is mandated to reach heavily censored countries with trusted information because Congress recognized that factual reporting contributes to international peace and stability and is in the interest of the United States of America. The irony that USAGM is now being undone under a banner of disinformation is not lost on me. Worse, some Republicans want it to be transformed into every propaganda machine we oppose abroad. The Trump administration's short-sighted dismantling of USAGM echoes its attacks on the U.S. Agency for International Development, spinning false narratives about corruption and waste to dismantle effective institutions Congress established with bipartisan support. Ms. Lake, if it was your goal at USAGM to use falsehood to advance an agenda, I believe then you're qualified for this job. Your opening statement, as I read, is full of false narratives, aided by Republicans on this committee who still refuse to release their own investigation transcripts. So, Mr. Chairman, if your findings are solid, release those transcripts now. The taxpayers who funded this work deserve transparency, not cherry-picked quotes that suit your sham narrative. And again, I ask that the transcripts, all of them, be made publicly so that the public can read and see everything, not cherry-picked sentences. Before it too was fed into the wood chipper, USAGM and its broadcasters were reaching a record 427 million people weekly, delivering objective news to China, Iran, Russia, and other repressive states. Last year, VOA's Persian service recorded 223 million visits to its website, doubling over 4 years. It had 9.8 million social media followers and 1.8 billion Instagram views. Then, Ms. Lake, you put VOA Persian on leave in March, scrambled to restore it in June when war erupted, and inexplicably, a week later, announced mass firings. So the question is, which is it? Is USAGM and the work it supports unsalvageable waste, as you have said, or is it a critical tool for diplomacy and facts? What you're doing isn't efficiency, it's chaos. The dysfunction lies in the administration's allergy to truth and democracy, the two pillars that USAGM aims to promote abroad. So I'm not surprised by the choice to gut USAGM, since the first Trump administration targeted the enterprise, violating laws and journalistic integrity to shape it into a state media, like Russia's or North Korea's. Today, those regimes are actually cheering as we surrender another potent set of soft power tools and abandon the airwaves. The Trump administration, again, chose extremism over facts, tearing down rather than building up our information advantage. Will Congress defend USAGM and free media, or rubber stamp this capitulation to China, Russia, and Iran? Our adversaries are already filling the void. But it's not too late to savage to USAGM. Not from itself, as Ms. Lake says, but from this administration's short-sighted hatchet job. With that, I yield back the balance of my time.